Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing my March book haul. I know I literally just did my February one, but that's what happens when you leave it to the middle of March to actually film it. So we're doing this one! And we're rocking the glasses because I've got a headache and I didn't really fancy just putting my contacts in, so. From the thumbnail it probably looks like I've got more books than I do. I got 8 books this month. 2 of them are duplicates, so there's that. 3 of them I've already read. See March wrap up. 4 of them I've already read throughout the course of my reading career. March wrap up as well, and in other wrap ups too. This is a very long-winded way of saying I've read some of these books already, so it doesn't look as bad. And some of them are repurchases. I don't know, I'm going like this. This is a hot mess of an introduction, so let's just get into the books. You'll see. The first book that I have is Lips Touch by Laini Taylor. I already own this book. I have the paperback version of it. This is actually the hardback version of it. I find this at the Oxfam bookstore for, I think it was like £3. And I was like, I am having that. There is a little bit of like wear on the cover, but I was like, I don't care because it is the hardback. And it is orange. I did not know that when I picked it up. And like this retails for like $14.99 and I got it for £3, so I was getting it. The other book that is a duplicate copy is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. This is the American hardcover of it. It is gorgeous and it matches the American hardcover of Vengeful that I have. So I have the UK and the US editions of Vengeful and Vicious in their hardbacks, and it's just gorgeous. I was obsessed with this because of the way that their black kind of is reflective, and I just love this series so much. Speaking of V.E. Schwab, I have the Near Witch, which is actually her first ever published book, but it kind of went out of print, and so they brought it back in these gorgeous editions. I think there are 3 editions. There's this white one, there's a black one, and I think that there's another one in a different color. I think it's purple. I want to say it's purple, but it's probably not. I got the Waterstones one, and it's signed by the author. You really can't see it because for some reason she did it in silver, but it is there. It is. I swear to you that it is. I really have no idea what this book is about. It's just V.E. Schwab, and I was like, I needs to have it. It actually reminds me of the cover for the Savage Song. Right? It looks so freaking identical, especially because our Dark Duet, I think, has the whatever that is come out up here, just like this one does. It's weird. It's got pretty end papers too. And just look at it in the buff. Pulse Fire Ambulance. I love it. It's purple on gold. Awesome. Woo, there's illustrations. Cool. I did not notice that. If you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. I notice shit when I buy shit, so. It's a hat trick for V.E. Schwab in this video because I got A Gathering of Shadows, which is the second book in a Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. I think it's called something else. I cannot remember. But this is the exclusive collector's edition, and I literally thought that I was like, isn't this just the exact cover for a Darker Shade of Magic? Don't they look just ridiculously similar? I was like, I was like confused. There are differences. I loved A Darker Shade of Magic when I read it last year, I think it was. So I was like kind of waiting for this edition to come out before I continued it because it's gorgeous. I don't know anything going into it. The end papers are spectacular, but look. It's a poster. It has this gorgeous poster on the dust jacket. Seriously, calm down. The dust jacket for A Darker Shade of Magic also has a poster. I love it. It is gorgeous. So I cannot wait to get into this book. And this is chunky too. And look, it also has this little figurine on the inside, just like A Darker Shade of Magic. I'm sensing a theme with all of V.E. Schwab's books. When I got Lips Touch by Laini Taylor, I also got The Witches of St. Petersburg by Imogen Edwards James. The Russian Empire is on the verge of collapse. Revolution is in the air. The starving stalk the streets of St. Petersburg, and yet the imperial court still travel between their estates and organize their lavish balls. Two sisters arrive in the city, princesses from Montenegro. They are famed for their wild beauty and mystic powers. Initially ridiculed and outcast as the daughters of a provincial goat king, they react in the way they know how. They befriend the isolated Tsarina Alexandra, and using their gifts, they help her in her increasingly desperate quest to give birth to a son and heir. The girls are the gateway. Gurus, clairvoyants, holy fools, and charlatans all try their luck. Then, in one last doomed throw of the dice, the sisters introduce Rasputin into the Russian court. Oh my gosh! This just sounds so magical. And especially because it's like Tsarina Alexandra and her quest to have Alexei. And Alexei, he then was hemophilic. He could not form platelets. If he was cut, he would bleed for hours and hours and hours. And they would just struggle to like stop anything from hurting him. And it was carried by females and only males can get it. And so it just, everybody thought it was like she was cursed for something. And it was just like, oh, I'm so intrigued. And just the cover. Blue and gold, speak to me. I also picked up Superman Dawnbreaker by Matt De La Pena. This is the last book in the DC Icon series. This is book number 4, following Wonder Woman Warbreaker, Batman Nightwalker, and Catwoman Soul Stealer. Of course, they had to do Superman because he is a DC icon. You can't do Batman without doing Superman. This follows Clark Kent, obviously in Smallville when he is a teenager and he's just finishing school and trying to figure out what he wants to do for college. And he and his friend Lana Lang discover something that's going on in Smallville that nobody can explain. People are going missing and nobody can explain why. And so they start to investigate that because, you know, Lana Lang has her journalistic abilities and Clark is then discovering his abilities and what he can do, you know, because obviously he's the son of Krypton. And so the story just goes from there. I have read this one. Check out my March wrap up to find out what I thought about it. Not much else to say about it. I need a forklift for this book because it's so heavy. The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I told myself I was not going to get this book because I have not read a Samantha Shannon book yet. I have The Bone Season on my iPad because it was free on iTunes one week and I was just like, right, I'll get it now. Why not? It's for free. People have been talking about this book for months, since I think BookCon last year when people got arcs of it. And there's a girl that I follow on Instagram, Bookstagram. She is a massive Samantha Shannon fan and she has read this and she loved it. It is actually a standalone book, which probably explains why I could do some serious damage with this thing. Busy piss me off? Bam! You're warned. Do not piss me off if I have this book nearby. I said I didn't want to get it just yet because I was wanting to focus on books that I was very much excited to read. But I saw it in Waterstones and I was just like, it's just so pretty in person and I might as well, because at the time that I'm filming this I am 6 books ahead of schedule on Goodreads. Might not seem like a great feat considering I only want to read 52 books this year, but that means I am 6 weeks ahead of schedule. So yep, this is gonna easily take me like a week or 2, maybe 3. Don't know an awful lot about this book. All I know that it's like queens and dragons and princesses, and I was just kind of like sold on dragons, to be perfectly honest, because who doesn't love dragons? Every time I go to talk about this book, or like I think I'm going to like pick it up, I always call it The Orange of the Priory Tree because, you know, I'm a moron. Yep, that's gonna take a while, and there are some gorgeous maps on the inside. Absolutely gorgeous maps. Map. Very intrigued. And the last book that I have in this haul is one that I told myself also that I was not going to get, because when I heard about it I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like one that I might want to read one day. Then people started talking about it and then I was like, damn it. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book is like everywhere right now. It's everywhere on YouTube, on Instagram. Everybody and their mother and their dog have heard about this book in some shape or form. This follows Daisy Jones, who is a singer and songwriter, and the Six, who are a band, and how they came together in a collaborative force and how they had this meteoric rise and this almost apocalyptic fall. The tagline is everyone was there, everyone remembers it differently. This is told in a format that is like snippets of everybody's stories. It reads like a VH1 behind the music special. It reads like a television program, in my opinion anyway. You get Daisy talking, and then you get Billy talking, who's a member of the Six, and then you get Daisy talking like her story, and then his perspective, then her perspective, then his perspective. And it's not like a chapter is their perspective, a paragraph or a line or a word is their perspective as they are talking to the interviewer. I love that. A lot of people say that they might not recommend it as your first Taylor Jenkins Reid book. I kind of disagree, because you don't need to know anything. If you go into it thinking about it as a VH1 behind the music special, as a television program rather than an interview, you're sweet. Taylor Jenkins Reid creates these characters that are so real that you feel like you are actually reading about a band, that you're actually reading the transcript from that behind the music special, that these are real people, that these are real songs, that you could just go onto Spotify and put in Daisy Jones and the Six and you could listen to them. And I can understand why everybody's talking about it and why it is getting such hype. A lot of people say the audiobook is the way to go with this. I physically read it. Either way is good. Those are all the books that I got in March. I actually thought I got more than that when I was actually going through my books and going, yeah, I got that in March, got that in March, got that in March. I thought it was going to be a much longer list than what it was. I think 8 is still a good amount. It's not too much, whereas like sometimes in previous hauls I was doing like 16 books in a month. I was like, damn. So I'm getting better at like the not buying books, and a lot of these books are books that I was very excited about. That's what I tell myself. Nevertheless, these are all books that I am very excited to read. If I could just inhale them right now, I would. If I could just read them just by just flicking the pages, that would be amazing. I am not the fastest reader in the world, so these are going to take a little bit of time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below which books are ones that you want to read in the future, or have you read any of these books. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, all that jazz that we tell you to do at the end of videos. All of my social media links are all down below. Come chat with me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!